Hi there everyone, just today's lesson we're going to look at coordinates. So we'll look at two parts of coordinates. So we're looking at reading coordinates and plotting coordinates. We'll start off talking about one quadrant. I'll explain that so we can see it, and then we'll move to the second half of the lesson where we're talking about obviously all four quadrants. It's relatively straightforward. Anyone who's played any kind of game online where you talk about like going from grid to grid will probably know how to kind of do this. But it needs to be covered and you need to be aware of it, and then I'll show you where the potential common mistakes may occur as we kind of arise. Okay, so reading coordinates. When reading coordinates, remember to go along the corridor and up the stairs. Or like you'll have heard that in school many times, no doubt. And if you've forgotten about it, along the corridor means you go along the x-axis, that's the horizontal first, and then up the stairs means you then go vertically up and down, and that's the order you need to kind of do it. All right. So don't forget to put your answers in brackets. Coordinates are written in brackets. Where your first value is your x, so the horizontal, and your second value is your y, that means your height up or down. Okay, so coordinate A, so how do we read it? Well, it's not that difficult. All right, so we start from here and we go along the corridor, which gives us 3, and then up the stairs, which goes to 1. All right, so across 3, up 1, and we write it as a 3, 1, and that's our coordinate there. All right, so and that explains to anybody looking at it, you've gone 3 along and then 1 up, and that's what that means. That's a coordinate. Okay. Coordinate B, all right, so we follow the same process. So we've gone along the corridor, 4, and then up the stairs, 5. All right, so across 4 and then 5 up, and we write that as a coordinate 4, 5. Really easy kind of stuff. All right, I mentioned right at the beginning about this being the first quadrant. The reason it's the first quadrant is because you'll notice from this grid they're all positives. All right, so 0 to 6, 0 to 6, all positive. So we've always gone right and then up. All right, and so that hence is slightly different to what you might come across, but we'll say we'll do that second half of the lesson. So that's reading them along the corridor, up the stairs, and be very careful with that. Okay, right, plotting coordinates. Well, we take what we've just going to learn and we just build on it more than anything else. So you're going to give this time you're going to give him the coordinate, and then of course you need to plot it. So he's using what you've been given to make sure that you got that the first value is your x, how much it goes across, and the second value, which is y, is how much it goes up. All right, and again, at the minute we're just talking about the first quadrant, but the method is no different from the second, and third, and fourth quadrant. All right, so if you're asked to plot 5, 2, so what we're looking at is your first value here has been 5, so we're going to go along the corridor to 5, and then the second value, which is 2, I'm going up the stairs, which is going to be 2, which is going to be over there. All right, so there we go. This means 5 across, 2 up. All right, 1, 4, same process. So along the corridor 1. And up the stairs 4, so it's going to be where my cursor is now, hopefully, and there you go. All right, so really easy stuff. All right, no problem at all. All right, so we might as well move on to the reading coordinates when we're talking about all four quadrants. And again, no real difference in terms of what you've just done. It's just the idea of thinking about the fact that you might have negative numbers and just following that kind of process. So the method is very much the same. We're still looking at coordinates, they're still in brackets, and we're going to try and identify left and up and down, that kind of thing. All right, so considering we said along the corridor and up the stairs, well, we're not going upstairs this time around, and in terms of how far we go along, it's very different. All right, so we're here. This is where we start at 0, 0, and then we're going to count along. So 1, 2, 3, but of course it's -3. All right, so that's going to be our first bit, and we are going to go down 2, and that obviously is -2, so it's going to be -3, -2. All right, -3, and then -2, and that's going to be our coordinate for that one. So now we're dealing with negative numbers. The method is very much the same, but of course we're now thinking about negative numbers. All right, so just keep your eye on those. So let's look at B. So again, thinking about where we start, we're going to go along the corridor 3, so that's going to be our first digit, and then we've gone down to -4, so 3 and -4. All right, so let's write those in, 3 and -4. Easy, no problem at all. Let's do one more. So we've got C. So here, this is where we kind of start, and we go along the corridor -2, and then up the stairs to 2. So -2 and 2. All right, and that's our coordinate for that one. All right. Just be very careful with anything that's a 0 that you identify. If it's a 0, for example, along the corridor, if I think my first digit is an X is a 0, it's not going to go anywhere. All right, so just be careful when dealing with a 0. Okay, the amount of times I've seen people say 0, 2. And I've put it here. All right, well that's wrong. 0, 2, if you think about it, 0 2 would actually appear up here. All right, so just be very, very careful when dealing with a 0 in your coordinate, and know that the first value is along the corridor. All right, so if it's a 0, it's not moved left or right at all, is it? Okay. Right, let's look at plotting some coordinates. That's the last little bit of doing this. So same as before. So let's have a look. -2, 3. So we start at 0, and then -2 is along the corridor, and then 3 is positive, so it's going to go up. So it's going to appear where my cursor is now. There we go. And then this is the one I kind of mentioned just a minute ago, 0 - 3. Well, it's not gone anywhere from here. It's not gone left or right, but it has gone down 3. So it's going to move from here down to here. So it's going to be where my cursor is now, hopefully. And there you go. So that's the one to be really, really careful of, because that's one that people tend to make a mistake on. Let's just do one more. So -1. So -1 is here, and then it says -4, which is the next one. So it's going to go down to there, isn't it? All right. So hopefully, it'll just appear on the bottom of the graph there. All right. So not really difficult, not really much of a problem. Just got to be very, very careful in terms of your left and right, and then your up and down. Make sure you're doing that in order. So your X comes first. That's your horizontal. And your Y, which is your vertical, comes second. All right, and that's always going to be the same case. All right. If you need any practice on that, again, please visit maths-school.co.uk. Link is at the bottom. But that's it for me. Cheers.